local history librarian here at Case Kidineya Libraries, and Tracy is the librarian at Hampton Park and Information Services librarian. So, you know, we're in safe hands here. Now I'm going to share my screen, and you should see. So this is all about Tasmanian Archives, and they've got a great lot of material, and so much of it's digitised, and that's sort of really good. Like their birth, deaths and marriage certificates are digitised, their convict records are digitised. There's a whole lot of, probably more than what the Public Records Office has. And also, you know, if you do your Victorian birth, deaths and marriages, you have to buy so many certificates. But in Tasmania, so many of them are already online, so that's really good. I have to say, I found their site a little bit, you seem to go back and forth a bit. So, you know, we'll do our best here today. But this is the screen to get to. I've got on the notes that I sent you this morning, I've got the URL for this page here. And my recommendation would be, anyway, so now what you can find in Tasmanian Archives is the sort of thing that you can find in the Victorian Archives, the Public Records Office, or the you know, National Archives. So there are records such as, you know, birth, deaths and marriage records, shipping records, and of course you have to remember that the early colonial period when we were all colonies, so you get shipping records of people who come from England or other countries to Tasmania, plus you also get intercolonial records. So whenever someone left Tasmania to go to another colony, such as Victoria, you might find those sort of records as well. Birth, deaths and marriage, census records, convict records, court records, land grants, employment, education. Where's that music coming from?
Sorry, Heather.
Oh, that's right. There's some music in my head.
Yeah, no, I thought I had my phone on silent, but it wasn't.
No, that's all right. Anyway, so this whole range of records are Indigenous records or records for Indigenous history and things like that. So anyway, that's the first page, and you can either if you just scroll down, you can get to guides to records. This here, I'll just move this away here. So this is really interesting. So there's all these other little short guides here, but guides to records is, click on that, and then if you then click on railway employees, you get a whole list of the sort of records that they have here, or we'll go back. So that's just a good overview. If you're really interested in, you know, children in care or whatever subject you're interested in, divorces, let's go divorces. And then it tells you what sort of records there are. So this is a good overview of what they have, what sort of records they have. So that's from the first page, the URL that I gave you. Just admit someone else. Now, we'll go back. And they also have, now where is this? Family history. So then if you click on these other things, so that's guides to records. So it lists all the records they have in a particular subject. And this family history portal here is the family history portal, as they call it. And then that just has little overviews of various aspects of family history. So Aboriginal ancestry, birth, deaths and marriages, you can see that here, education, work. And this is quite, we'll go to birth, deaths and marriages. Now you are seeing the screen change, aren't you, Tracy?
Yes.
Oh,
yep.
yes, yeah. Yeah. So then it tells you what's online, what else is there, and it just goes through a whole lot of hints. So, you know, my advice would be if you really just want birth,
Hey, your audio's gone funny, Heather. We can't hear
information
you,
in Tasmania. Go to that. Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
No, you're back now.
Okay. Back now.
Yep.
Okay. Hang on. I'm just going to change. That's a good one. I'll just change this round. Okay. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so Right, okay, fine. I'm just reading my instructions on the screen here. So I would recommend that if you if what you want is just birth, deaths and marriages or Aboriginal ancestry, we'll just have a look at that one there, that you go to these portals, which gives you a good overview of the subject and the resources that are available. And this tells you how, if you have Indigenous ancestry in Tasmania. But other than that, my recommendation, like everything, is, let's look at my notes here. When you search, just type a name in. That's what I always do. I just think you can't just beat, this is my philosophy, ancestry, births, deaths and marriages, anything I'm searching for in Trove, I just go to the general search screen and put a name in and hit search. And then once you've got your search results, then I filter down. I just think that's the best way, because that means you don't miss out on anything. Because sometimes people narrow their search from the start and you think, oh, I'm just looking at this set of records at this time and this newspaper or whatever, and then you miss things because you don't realise it's in other areas. So let's move this down here. So I've put in Ramsdale. That's my great-great-grandparents who came to Tasmania in 1828. And I've just put in their names. So on that left-hand side, as you can see here, so this is, of course, this is the general Tasmanian library website. So you can either limit your search in two ways once you've got your results. So on the left-hand side, you can decide that what you want are online references. You can see here, we'll click select. You want the archives, click select. And then from my general search down to just online records, from the archives. So then we get these records here, which we'll look at in a minute. So that's the one way of doing it. But we'll just go back to the general search screen that I had a minute ago. Oh, and I've lost it. You can also decide that what you want to do is, I only want records from Tasmanian Archives. You can see that here. So you click on that. Or I only want the names index, which we'll talk about in a minute because the names index is really good. So if we decide I just want records about Ramsdale in the Tasmanian Archives, just click on this and then you'll, that's what you get. Only records about Ramsdale in the Tasmanian Archives. And then once again, on the left-hand side, you can then go through and decide you just want digitised items, non-digitised, online, the series you want, the agency you wanted, all those things. You can just filter or limit your results from that. Or you might look at and while we're here, when you do a new search, just remember that you, I do this so many times. I put a new search in because I'm the sort of person, I just do one search, then do another, then do another. And then I realise here, I've got this C here, within these results or new search. Make sure if you're doing a new search, you hit new search, because otherwise you put a new search in and you realise, oh, I've got no results because I'm searching within these results. You can see this here. So, so just make sure when you're doing more than one search or multiple searches, sequentially, that you actually make sure that you've actually not got this within these results ticked, or else you get no results. So that's a little hint, which has caught me out, quite frequently recently. So before we do this, so I've done Ramsdale, and now we're going to go to the names index. The names index is really fun. So the names index is great for family historians because it just searches for names. So if I'd put in Ramsdale before and there was a town called Ramsdale, for instance, in Tasmania, I would have got results about that. If there was a company called Ramsdale, I would have got that. But if I didn't want people, like a family history search where I only want names, once you put your results in, click on the names index here, and you'll just get all the names with all the Ramsdale names, or whatever name you want, of course, you know. So my Ramsdale family came to, and this just searches, as you can see, arrivals, marriages, departures, births, deaths, census records, inquests, bankruptcy, all those sorts of things that you want for family history, all those exciting things, you know, find a will, find a census, were they a convict, did they go bankrupt? Yeah, it's just a great thing. I think that's a really great part of the Tasmanian Archives, this name index. It's just sort of, you know, just brings it all together. They should do the PROV. I should suggest that to them. Anyway, so my Ramsdale family came to came to Van Diemen's Land, or Tasmania, in 1828, and they came with the Van Diemen's Land Company. So I can find, so you can see here, so we've got marriages, departures, but on the left-hand side here, once again, I can click on arrivals and hit select. And here's John Ramsdale, his arrival. And then, oh, that's so cool. It is so cool. We'll just wait for that to load. And this is the shipping record, and it's a list of the men, women and children shipped at the Port of Hull by the Van Diemen's Land Company of London on board the ship Caroline, tells you who the master was, bound for Circular Head, Van Diemen's Land. So cool. I was so excited. I was so, you know, I get excited about lots of things. I was so thrilled to see this. It was just exciting. And then here he is, John Ramsdale, wife Elizabeth, one son, John, 2, and then a host of girls, you know, they don't care about the girls. Margaret, 15, Mary Ann, 13, Elizabeth, 11, Jane, 9, and Alan, 5. So that was just thrilling information. It tells you the date somewhere when it arrived. But it's just exciting to see it. So, and then it was interesting because when you consider obviously Tasmania was looking for, you know, European immigrants to settle the country, and for a family to arrive with 5 girls, they must have been considered manna from heaven, really, because a lot of these early settlements had so many men compared to women that, you know, to get five women of, well, almost marriageable age, and 3 of the girls were married off at 17 and 18. One, my grandma, was 23, great-grandmother, and one of them was an ancient 28-year-old when she was married. But like, it was just interesting that not only do they supply a son to, you know, get the increase the work pool in Tasmania, but they also had, you know, all these marriageable girls. So that was exciting to find. So that is the sort of record that you can find, and you can download this as a copy, or this here, I'll talk about this permalink here, especially when you come to convicts records. Just make sure, just click on this, open a new tab, or you can, oh, I lost it. Now where am I here? Open a new tab, or else you can just copy and paste it into a document or something like that. So it just means you go straight to that page again. So that's always worth looking at. So that's the sort of information you can find. So that's the marriage record, arrivals record. And then I've ticked arrivals. Now what I want is the marriage. So we'll tick that and select it. And we'll find Alan. So this is my great grandma, I think, married Henry Fortescue Weatherhead in Tasmania. And I was looking at this, I've looked at this record a few times, but I was looking at it yesterday, and lo and behold, as a bonus, that's her brother there on the top of it. So he married exactly the same day, John Ramsdale married exactly the same day as his sister did. So that's a bonus, two records for the price of one. And can I say the price is nothing, because it's free. So you'd be paying, you know, the $20 for first test of marriages in Victoria for this record. So it is you know, we are grateful that the Tasmanian Archives have digitised so much material. So that just tells you Alan Ramsdale, she was an adult, he was a farmer. That's their signature, the minister when registered, and the that's clergyman, and also the witnesses down here. So it's the same sort of standard format as a Victorian marriage certificate, but it doesn't actually list the parents, but doesn't matter. It's still great to see. So that was exciting. And the brother as well. So you can see the sort of records that we can get there. If you just want to, the other good thing is the census record. So I don't have any, we'll tick that or untick that, and we'll select. So I don't have any convicts. Tracy has some convicts. We'll be looking at Tracy's convict before, but I do, I do have the opposite, because this is John Ramsdale, who is, you know, the son of the young John who just arrived as a 2-year-old, and this is his census record in 1848. And John Ramsdale, name of employer, he was at Roland Gunn, owned the property, dwelling built of wood, inhabited by 11 people, of which 5 are free, which means that he had 6 convicts. So that's sort of interesting, you know, that it lists, you know, the amount of free settlers and convicts, because if he had any assigned to him. So that was interesting. I found that the other day. So that was the 1848 census. So that was exciting to see. Well, I found it exciting. So some of the records, as you can see, they go straight to the actual digitised record. There's others, like we'll see with the convict records, where you have to scroll through page after page, but we'll come to that in a minute. So that is, you know, that's through the name index. I can't stress highly enough how wonderful this is. I just think it's just fantastic. Just the whole that you sort of, you know, like for family history purposes, you bring all the records together without having to go through all the, you know, other things that you don't really want to care about. So, well, that's in my view anyway. So that is the name index. Now, related to this is the now how do I open this up then?
Yeah, that's what you're after, yeah.
Oh, you can see, that's good, yeah.
Yep.
So this is the Colonial Tasmanian Family Links database, which is, I actually thought it was part of the archives, but Tracy said it's actually a separate database.
I think it's separate. They might have brought it into the archives now, but a few years ago when I started doing my family history, it seemed to be a very much volunteer-driven type of thing.
Okay. Yeah. So what the Colonial, what it does is actually brings together all the information about families that you get from the Tasmanian Archives, that you get from linkages that have been developed by family historians. Some of the information may not be correct. Some of it's from the birth, deaths and marriages. Some of it's from, I suppose it's a bit like Ancestry. You know, you have a database, and some information you get from, who knows where they get it from on Ancestry. You know, some information they get it from, you know, proper sources, and some information they just get from, you know, wherever. But either way, now it's, who's the person?
Edward Hunter.
Edward Hunter, sorry.
Try him.
Yeah. So we'll put in Edward Hunter, we'll search. And that's him.
Yep, that's him.
And look, oh, this is so amazing. So we've got Edward Hunter. He's got his wife, Alan McLeod, who his parents are, who his siblings are, and who the children are. Like, this is just the coolest thing. Now, you have to remember, of course, that they all have to have been born in or come from Tasmania. So because my Ramsdales were born in England, I don't have like a family page for them on the Colonial Families database. But if they're all born, obviously, in like Tracy's family in Tasmania. And what did you say? He was your wood chopping great-grandfather.
Yes. Yeah, he was a wood chopper.
A wood chopper, like he went around to shows and things.
I think so, yeah.
That's cool.
I found that article in Trove where he'd won a wood chopping competition out the back of a pub.
Wow. So that's, anyway. So this is Edward, his wife Alan, all the kidlets here, and then this is your grandma.
That's my grandmother. Yep.
How cool is that? So does it list her?
No,
Sometimes had she been married in Tasmania, you might have even got a spouse.
she was married in Tasmania, but it doesn't seem to be linked. So you can search William Howard and you'll find them.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry, she married into the Howard, so that's
okay.
a different search. Try David Howard.
So on the handout that I gave you, there is a link to this database, so you'll find it on that. It would be...
Possibly, yeah, that one maybe. No, not that one.
The benefit of live show, we'll just go through these randomly. And
try the 1887 one. That's him.
Okay. So where's the spouse?
Yeah, so they haven't linked the marriage. So whoever put in all these details, they didn't link the marriage.
Oh, okay,
but that's
right.
my grandfather. Right. Yep.
Okay. So of course this is not perfect, but it is good to get a general overview. It might give you names of siblings that you don't know, and once again you have to prove it from another source. But it's just interesting. We'll just look at Howard Albert here. Yeah. So there you go. That's the Colonial Tasmanian Family database. Colonial. It's a great site. Just to give us just a general overview and work out how families are connected. So, but once again, like for any family history, you need to really go back to other sources. So don't take it as gospel, but just take it as a nice guide. And it's a lot of work on their part, and I just think they should be congratulated. All the volunteers that did all that work to
all that work, yeah.
Yeah, and which actually brings up an irrelevant to this talk, but like how much volunteer work is done in the name of family history when you consider how many people work at the Public Records Office of Victoria or even work for the Latter-day Saints to transcribe indexes and things like that. There's so much, or even the family history group like Jane and Lynn and Eileen who are listening today, just how much work is done by volunteers in the name of family history. And it's a really great thing that family historians are keen to index records and get the information out there and help other people. So it's a great thing. So now, anyway, so that's the Colonial Tasmanian Family database. Now we'll go back to our search and we'll look at Convict. So we talked about the Convict Portal before, and I have to say I find this site slightly confusing. We'll go back to the convicts under family history. And this is a convict. No, that's not it. There's a convict portal we talked about before, and yet I can't find it. That doesn't sound good, does it? That's the one. That's the Convict Portal. So if you've got a convict in Tasmania, which I don't, but if you have any, this is a really good overview of the link to this portal is actually on your handout. The link to it's a really good overview of convict life, what they did, how they lived in Tasmania. It's just well worth reading before you start your research. So and once again, it links you sort of to other information and how the convict system worked in Tasmania. So once again, if you know you've got a convict in the family or think you might one, type the name in. So William Singleton is Tracy's what? Tracy's great
grandfather.
Great-great-grandfather. I'll put William Singleton into the search, just in my usual scattergun approach. And then if we go to name index again and go to convicts. So there's 3 sets of records on William Singleton, but they're like a treasure trove. There's so much information. So we'll click on the first one. Now
that's not my guy.
Oh no.
No, because that's the Lady Ridley. He came out on the Manor list.
Oh, Well, there you go. I just had to pretend for the sake of this talk.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh dear. Doesn't matter.
That's okay. Go to the next one. I think that'll be him.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, he wasn't born in Tassie. He came out.
No, hang on. So,
Oh
dear.
one?
This one.
This one. That looks like that might be him.
Oh, okay. So some of the examples I gave you in the
That's him.
Dearie me. Some of the examples I gave in the handout, probably another William Singleton, but as I said, we'll just pretend they're all the same. Just an example. So what can you see if you have a convict record? So they have so much choice. This is a conduct record. Now this one goes straight to his. This one goes straight to the William Singleton record, and that tells you. Oh, I can barely read it, but it tells you, whether he was absent, what punishment he got. March 10th, absconding, absent from his place of work. He's very bad, Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
Having a flint, steel, tinder. So this basically tells you his conduct and how good or bad he was. Transported for stealing
cheese, bread and bacon.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Which just goes to show, I should have read that beforehand, but I didn't actually realise that was there. Like how little you had to do to be sent to Tasmania or sent as a convict. I mean, it's just astounding, isn't it? So did this offence housebreaking 2 months before for stealing a prayer book. Oh, well, obviously prayer book didn't do him any good. So anyway, but this is fantastic. I mean, if this was your, I just think this is the most amazing lot of information about how good or bad they were. And in, it's just a great resource, this is. So that's the conduct. This one here is just wait for this to load. Sorry. We spent a bit of time on convicts because most people are very keen to get a convict in the family. It used to be in the olden days, no one would admit to it, but now people are keen. And I do find apparently that people who have one, is that true with you? People who have one convict in the family often have two because often married each other. So did William marry another convict?
He married, yes, he did marry another convict, yeah. He married Eliza Bryant. Yeah. She was another convict.
Yeah. Oh, insubordination, that's another contract.
This is more conduct.
Half. Anyway, you can see the sort of record that you get here. Misconduct. Oh my goodness, he was bad. Yeah.
He went to Port Arthur a couple of times.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay. Oh. And what did he do in the end? Did he have a happy life? I mean, did he?
Oh, they had quite a lot of kids.
Oh, yeah. Now, the description list.
God, she got some info.
Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is 17.
Yeah, he was only young.
Wow. This is lovely.
And
brown
short.
hair, no whiskers. Oh, 5'1", yeah. Visage. What's that? Perpendicular forehead. Brown eyebrows, brown eyes, medium length nose. Remarks.
And there's
2 hearts and darts. Oh, okay. 2 hearts and darts. Wow. But this is wonderful. I mean,
apparently.
Okay. I just think this is. Oh, he's a bricklayer by trade. Bricklayer's lad. Ah. But I just think this is so nice, just to sort of give you a pit. I mean, because obviously you won't have a photo. You're unlikely to have a photograph, but just to give you build a picture up of what they look like and those sort of things. It's just that when you see in the World War I records, when you see a description of the of your soldier, and it says 5'4", the complexion colour and the eye colour. And I just think it's such a lovely thing to sort of try to help you build up a picture, like a visual picture in your mind of what your ancestors were like. So a bricklayer's lad, I mean, that's so sad. 17.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now this one here, we need to know. Let me just go back to here. So this one, so some records it goes straight to your, it goes straight to the record of your person, and others. We'll just wait for this to load. Sorry, I was hoping I could do this from work because the internet's much quicker at work than home, and obviously we're not allowed in at work.
We're not allowed in the buildings.
No, not allowed in the building at all. So sorry, we just have to wait for the really slow So this one here, you have to actually, for some of the resources, you have to actually scroll through page after page, and then that's so if they start with P, S, so then and they're sort of vaguely alphabetical within each page. But here I did look them up earlier. 329. Oh, sorry about this. Wait for this to load. Which is why, see this top on the left. Oh, this is cool. Yeah. Where's yours? There's William there. That's his height. What is that? He's 5'8". Was that 5'0"?
Oh, there are a couple of different William Singletons who came out, I think.
Oh, well, we'll pretend this is yours.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's not.
Oh, no, there he is. No, he's Brickmaker.
William Singleton?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got Brickmaker.
No, but he's got his 42.
Oh, no, that's not mine then.
No, as I said, for the sake of this exercise, we'll pretend it is yours. Yeah. Anyway, so that just shows you all about it. So that's just another description of them. And this tells you when they were sentenced, the ship they came out on, and all those things. So that's interesting. It's connected to your William. But anyway, so that's so that's a lesson, isn't it? That don't be just because you have a William Singleton. So there's obviously two William Singletons, one on the Lady Ridley, one on the other ship you said. So it is interesting that, you know, once again, you just have to make sure you get the right one.
Yeah.
But that is the sort of information you get. So, and I just think it's amazing. Given, and also we're lucky that they, you know, the information was actually kept, because you could see, you know, from those early days. I mean, it's just amazing. The records were preserved, and they've since been digitised. We're just so lucky with that. So once again, because it took me a while to find this one. Maybe it's the wrong one, but it doesn't matter. So I had to scroll through all the on the side here, nearly all the S's to find this one, and eventually we found it. So when you do find it, see this permalink here on the top right-hand side. Just make a note of that link, and that means you go straight back to that record next time instead of having to scroll back through all those records again.
So do you click on it, Heather?
If I click on that. Oh, and there, yeah, so just like a copy and paste, like you get on Trove, we'll copy and paste that. And let's see if you can see it. I'm opening up here. And you open up straight to that record, and if you can see it on the screen.
It's still coming.
Still coming, yeah. So that's really worth remembering, so you don't have to constantly click on, scroll through again. And here we are. William Singleton the second, not the first. So, yeah. So that's a permalink here. So just remember to use that once again. And that's actually the end of my talk. I can't believe that's all I had to say, because I had so many slides. I thought I'd be going on forever. But so any questions? Were there any questions, Tracy?
No,
so,
nothing
before
in
I
chat.
finish. So this is Nothing changed. So these are the sort of things that you can get on your convict, like quite, I would say, an amazing amount of information about their conduct and how they came to Australia and what they did here. And of course, once they're in Tasmania, well, they'd also, we'll go back to, we'll do that now. It's not on the list, but under the names index, if we go, so now we're back to, if we unclick convicts on the left-hand side here, because I selected only the convict records. And then if we have a look at, say, marriage records. So, of course, William Singleton, who stayed in Tasmania, obviously, Tracy, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, so because he stayed in Tasmania, you can then, of course, find his, so he's got his set of convict records. And then if you go back to your name search, you could find, we'll just see if this is him. No, it wouldn't be him.
That is
what is it?
That was one that got denied, and then he was allowed to marry Eliza Bryan.
Oh, got denied.
Yeah, there was one or two that were denied, and then he was allowed to marry. Now, Gay has asked about spelling inconsistencies in names, like if it's A-double-N or A-double-N-E, or Cook with an E or Cook without an E.
Ah, we'll find out. So, that's interesting. So, do you have an example? Does what's an example we could use?
My Eliza Bryan came B-R-Y-A-N. Sometimes she's Bryant, sometimes she's B-R-I-A-B-R-I-A-N.
Okay, we'll put in Eliza. Oh, once again, you see, new search is what I should have done. So much for my advice to you. Okay. Yeah, so here we are. So that's Eliza Bryant.
Oh, Gay's given us one to try.
Yep.
So try Anne Feltis, F-E-L-T-I-S. And it's also sometimes spelled F-A-L-T-I-S. So try F-E-L-T-I-S.
Okay. So hang on.
Now she's got Anne without an E.
Okay. Okay, so we just get
If we have a look at the birth record, is Anne maybe the parent, the mum?
My ear thing's falling off. Mother. Anne. Yeah, okay, so that's she's the mother, and Catherine was the baby. Single.
Oh, they're all single.
Yeah, a lot of them are single, not many. Let's see. So that came up with that one record.
She might have been in one of the female factories down in Tassie. Yep, Gay's saying that's her Anne.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. So whether where's my
F-E-L-T-I-S, and she was at the Ross Female Factory.
Okay. So there's actually sad on that. I registered Campbelltown. What's at the bottom of this?
Hello. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
It's a real skill decoding their writing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Okay. So, well, if you looked at the, we'll go back to here, I'll go back. You just mentioned your Brian search, so I put in Eliza Bryan, and it does come up with O'Brien and Brian. So it does look as though it does try to do, you know, sounds like sort of results like they do on Ancestry. But let's try actually Feltis, Faltis. Is that the what?
That's the alternative spelling. Yeah.
Okay, we'll try that. Oh, yeah, there. Yay. Yeah, so
we
it did
get
come
the-
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the obviously like the phonetic spelling. So is that her? That's pretty good. That's way better than Victorian birth certs and marriages, where you can only make one mistake and you get nothing.
Karen's telling us about a good website to look at when looking for female convicts is femaleconvicts.org.au.
Okay. Convicts.org.au. Ah, that's good. Database.
It's a good one.
I'm
is there
writing
like
that one down.
Yeah. So about us, database. Is it a search?
Oh, looks like you have to log in.
Okay.
Karen's saying you need to log in and go to the database.
Oh, okay, right. Is it a free to join or?
Yes.
Yes.
It is, okay.
Yes.
Okay, need to be registered. Oh, that's pretty cool though. Yeah.
I know what I'm doing this afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is amazing. I can register as a guest researcher. Oh, this is really good. Oh, thanks, Karen. That's really amazing. Anyone else have any convicts today or convict sites? I'll add it to my list of resources that I have.
Did you search Port Arthur as well? I'm not sure.
Port Arthur
For the convicts who were there.
as a
I don't think so.
like, are you saying is there a separate database?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I haven't had a look.
Oh, okay, fine. Oh, they're open. Well, anyway, we'll have a look at that one other time. Now, well, we might have another look. We've got 12 minutes. So I guess in summary, I'm amazed how much on the Tasmanian Archives is actually digitised and just waiting for us to look at. I just think it's such a great resource. Oh, Alan Weatherhead. This is what I was talking before about. Oh no, that's interesting. Okay, so this is Alan Weatherhead. So we talked before about different spelling names. Well, clearly they've transcribed that one wrong, but it still came up. That's her when she was married, and then that's a departure. So because she, like a lot of your ancestors that came from Tasmania might have done, they went back and forth from Tasmania to Victoria quite a bit, and this is one of the departures. But if you go through Trove as well, because they've got the Tasmanian newspapers from early times on, and there are a lot of shipping records there. So you often find that if you're interested in this, that you know that that they exported. So there's a list of what they exported out of the colony or into the colony from Tasmania to Victoria. So if you haven't looked at Trove, you know, if you have ancestors in Tasmania early on, have a look on Trove as well. Just put the name into Trove and filter down the Tasmanian papers and down through the years. And you'll find that, like this Ellen Ramsdale, Ellen Weatherhead, as she was, her and her family went back and forth. You know, they took a horse over, they bought 3 ponies back. It's interesting to see the actual intercolonial trade at the time, which you can pick up through the sometimes through these records on the Tasmanian Archives, but you can certainly pick it up through Trove, through the shipping lists in the local newspapers. So it's interesting, sort of, because nowadays you don't think I forget that, you know, we were once separate colonies, and therefore you had your own customs, you had your own import and export rules and things like that. So, and they think now with COVID-19 we're shutting all the borders. Sometimes it seems like we're still separate colonies, but anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah, but once again, some of these records like this one here, you have to go through and actually find the entry in this list. And some of them, like the convict ones, but sometimes you go straight to the actual page that you're on. But it's worth persevering just to get a name and to see their name in print, really. Yeah. So, any other questions or anything to say? Anything to look for? Apart from my advice would be, just put a name in and find what you get. If you've got a Tasmanian ancestor, just put a name in and see what comes up. Is there any list, you might know this, Tracy, that shows you who convicts were assigned to work for?
That would be their muster rolls.
Oh, the muster roll. Muster roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Muster roll. Okay, we'll look at your William Singleton. Muster roll.
Roll, yeah. And Rachel's suggesting magistrate and bench records as well.
Oh, okay, rightio. Oh. So I'm in the muster roll, but doesn't actually, it's not digitised by the look of it.
No, not yet.
Oh. Surely they've got plenty of time. Sorry? That's a shame. I wonder if any of them are digitised. Probably not. Well, it's not perfect, but it's still fabulous. Still got lots of resources there. So, yeah. I'll just have a look at another William. Indent. What's an indent? So I don't have any convicts. So I've never really looked at the convict records before. I had to adopt William Singleton, Tracy, as one of my convicts. And
yes, my naughty boy.
Yeah. You can't believe it. Imagine sending a child out at 17 years old. Imagine, you just cannot even believe this happens, can you? You send some young child out at 17 years old to halfway across the world, all the way across the world. It's just astounding. Like, it's just, so what's this one here? Oh, that's an indent, yeah. Anyway, so as you can see, plenty of resources for tracing your Tasmanian convicts. Lots of them are also online, which is really fabulous. Lots of other resources for tracing your Tasmanian ancestors. And my advice, as I said just a minute ago, would be to just type a name in and then start filtering your results through the names index or the Tasmanian Archives, but the names index is what I'd go through, and just see how you go. Or because in the end, you've just got to start somewhere, and I don't know, what's this one?
You might find a hidden gem that you didn't know was there.
That's true. Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing when you filter your result, when you have such a narrow search to begin with, you don't know what you're going to get, and you might find. Oh, actually, we should look at court cases. As is that in here?
As Rachel suggested.
Rachel suggested, yeah.
Court.
Court. Have I just not seen this? Court. There it is. There. Thank you. Oh, stealing one heifer. Oh, that's cool. Ah, this is amazing. Ah. The following. Ah. Okay, verdict guilty. Oh, this is great. Yeah, so they listed. Oh, that's so that's each convict and their name and their number and what they did, stealing 28 bushels of wheat valued at £20, goods belonging to Michael Lackey. The verdict was guilty, guilty, not guilty. Ah, that's cool. That's another way to build up a picture of what your ancestors did. Because I've said this before in one of my talks, I'll say it again because I love this thing. I love family history. The thing I love about family history is, it's great to find out how they lived their life. And even though, they had a few ups and downs, clearly, a guilty verdict here, a guilty verdict there, it doesn't matter. It's all builds up the picture of your ancestor and how they lived their life and what they did and what society was like at the time. And it's just a wonderful thing, in my view. I don't know, what's this one here? So my advice would be, more advice, just explore. Put a name in and just explore. Robert Parker, pleaded not guilty. Oh, okay. Oh, this is great. Okay. Even though we don't like to think about ancestors as having criminal pasts, but maybe it makes them a bit more interesting. Don't know. Bankruptcy. They've got so much stuff. Okay. Well, that was a very potted overview of Tasmanian Archives, but as you can see, they have it's an amazing resource. It's just amazing. This is a bankruptcy petition. Oh, wow. See, even that's interesting. Look at that. That's the like the what do they call them? The little stamps they used to have for paying money. There's a term for these stamps. Pardon? What is it?
Stamp duty.
Stamp duty. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, this is great. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So thank you very much for listening to me rabbit on at Tasmanian Archives. Thank you, Tracy, for providing your convicts and your families to research. Next week, we're looking forward to Jane Vivekananda, who's the treasurer of the Narrewarrina District Family History Group. Looking forward to Jane doing her talk on Irish ancestors, because if there's one thing I get asked about all the time, Irish ancestors, Irish records, everything. It's a popular topic, and it's a bit of a it seems a bit complicated to actually trace your Irish ancestors as well. So next week Jane will tell you all about them. Now, if you've tried to book and you can't book, send me an email and I'll just send you the link anyway for next week's talk. So other than that, thank you very much for listening and thanks for participating in one of our seminars. Thank you.